Yesterday we looked in Exodus chapter 12 and we were looking at verses 1 through 6. Let's briefly glance back at those. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, really recommend you go back and check it out. So it says, while the Israelites were still in the land of Egypt, the Lord gave the following instructions to Moses and Aaron. From now, this month will be the first month of the year for you. And I talked a lot about how that was a really important thing, that what was happening here was so important that it was a moment of renewal for the people. It was a change. There was redemption. They were leaving slavery. So then in verse 3, it says, and that's the whole community of Israel. Then on the 10th day of this month, each family must choose a lamb or a young goat for a sacrifice, one animal for each household. Family is too small to eat a whole animal. Let them share with another family in the neighborhood. Divide the animal according to the size of each family and how much they can eat. So it was supposed to be a 1-year-old male, either sheep or goat, with no defects. Take special care of this animal until the 14th day of the month. Then the whole assembly must slaughter their lamb or young goat at twilight. Okay, so we continue thinking about this. First off, they made an allowance for small families, right? God thinks things through. Okay, I want you to consume this whole thing, right? That's an important part of this, that we're taking all of this at one time. It's not something you're going to come back to. It's something that is done at this moment in its totality. So we wanted the whole thing to be eaten. That's what God wanted. So he wanted it all to be consumed. So he made this so if you had a family of 2 people and a family of 10 people, then they could, take care of this. But one of the things that happened with this was the rabbis dealt with this in how many people that an animal could feed. Its minimum was 10 and its maximum was 20. So that's how they kind of subdivided. Now that's not in scripture. That's something that just kind of the rabbis and the Jewish, religious leaders kind of just did as time went. They kind of set some parameters for this. So the Hebrew word, when we talk about take the animal from sheep or goats, and see, we just always think about the sheep, right? We talk about the Passover lamb, but goats were included in this as well. So this Hebrew word say is quite neutral and can be translated a head of small stock. So not a big bull or something, but a small animal like a goat or a sheep. So the Hebrews didn't regard as much different between, I think, sheep and goats sometimes as we might think in some of their sacrifices. The Passover really shows that. So I think that was more of a minor subdivision for us, whereas us in the New Testament, it talks about that he would separate the sheep from the goats, right? And so we put much more stock in being a sheep than a goat, but it wasn't quite that way for the Jews of this day. And so he tells them at twilight, you slaughter this animal. And he gives instructions further of how they handle this moving forward in the next section. We'll look at it tomorrow.